Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first USCIPP Premium Products Update. The USCIPP BI team wanted to put this together just to give everybody some really great both information about what we have coming out this year and what we've already released in the first quarter, as well as put together some sort of slide tutorial to let people know how to find and access some of these resources. One of the most common questions that we get is, how do we find X, Y, or Z? And so hopefully this video and this webinar will help to answer some of those concerns. But before we get started, my name is Brandy Blayton. I am the research coordinator for USCIPP. USCIPP is one of NCHL's 3 premier programs. There's also LINS and NCAF. And all of us sort of work together to pursue NCHL's mission to advance healthcare leadership and organizational excellence by building diverse, inclusive, and collaborative relationships in the US and abroad. Now, when you think about USCIPP, you may think more about our international work, but we do also work here domestically, helping our members sort of talk through some of those common problems that they all have. And so why exactly do we do this work, particularly the work that I'm going to talk about today? We want to help hospitals identify which markets could be their next big project. Is there a location you haven't thought about that could have the potential to be your next big thing? We also want to help provide context for the ever-evolving healthcare market. COVID was definitely a really big factor in how international healthcare has evolved, particularly international patient services. Could we really have predicted 5 years ago how big of a deal telemedicine would become quite so quickly? So we're trying to help everyone sort of identify those trends and where we're eventually going with those sorts of things like telemedicine and those sorts of trends. A lot of the products that I'm going to talk about today are the premium products, which means that they're only available for USCIPP premium members. But all of these projects are available for standard members after a year. And we do have rolling membership, so that if you are currently a standard member and you'd like to upgrade to premium, we do have prorated costs for that. So what am I going to talk about today? So I'm going to talk about what we've got planned for the year. We might have some sneak peeks of some things that just went live right before I started recording. We're going to talk about some of the premium market dashboard updates we've got planned, some collaboration map updates, some things for the insurance project, and some of the market analyses. If you're looking at those and you're thinking, I didn't know that was the thing that USCIPP did, this is also the webinar for you, because I am going to delve into each of these a little bit deeply. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the Premium Market Insights dashboard. This is one of those things that I think might be potentially a little underutilized, because people just don't know how to find it. So the first thing I'm going to do is there are 2 sort of routes. The first is NCHL reporting. Regardless of which of these routes that you take, you will need your organization's login. And if you do not have access to that, please send me a message and I will see if I can help you out. So NCHL reporting is the direct link. And I'm already logged in. If you click over here on the side, you may have access to different streams. The one that we are concerned with right now is USCIPP Premium. You can just go ahead and click. And then we'll wait for it to come up, because as we all know, technology likes to slow down. We're in the middle of trying to show somebody how to do something. So before I kind of dive in to this different section of the dashboard, I do kind of want to talk about the general keys of the dashboard. This helps you visualize and manipulate intelligence, particularly for countries that we haven't done a market analysis for yet. So we're always getting questions about countries that we haven't had the time to do a market report for. So we recently got one. We've gotten some about like Panama, countries in South America, and a lot of times we will direct people to this dashboard. because pretty much everything is present here, even if we don't have that sort of deeper dive. This also gathers sources of information all in one place, including the insurance project and the collaborations map. And we do have a timeline of consistent updates for over the course of the year. Right now, our plan is to unroll some sort of update at least once a month or every other month. And Callie and I are working really hard to make sure that that does happen. If you ever have any questions about how to use QuiltSense, feel free to send Callie or I a message, and we'll walk through it as best that we can. So the first thing I'm going to start with is the country selection and latest news. So this pulls everything from the digest in all in one place. So you can easily filter by region, country. One thing that we have started adding are tags. Not every headline is currently tagged, but that's one of the updates that we have planned for this year. So let's say, for instance, that we are interested in articles with cancer in the title. So it's pulled us 12 headlines. Now, of course, we'd also have to search oncology, but this does kind of give us sort of an idea of what is happening in the news. And you can always exit out of this selection here. Or we can look at education and research. Let's see what we've done recently that has that tag in there. All right, it says 744. So that's just a really easy way to use this. QuiltSense is really great in that there are filters that we have built in, like country or region, but you can also invent any sort of text search filter that you may need. After the newsletter dashboard, we do have some info dashboards. These are really cool because they give you all sorts of information that you need right in place to do some really quick market overviews. There's some pages on burden of disease, visa refusal rates, that sort of thing. One thing that I will point out is that some of this data is a little dated. This particular dashboard has information from 2019. One of the planned updates for this year is getting newer data uploaded into the dashboard. So Callie and I are really excited to bring that into fruition. One thing that I am going to do over this is show you some sort of tips and tricks. So in QuiltSense, if you go up here, these buttons let you switch from page to page. But if you click on this one that says Sheets, it lets you skip directly to what you may want to look at. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is the insurance project. This is definitely a labor of love. We have all worked on it at this point. But basically the idea behind the insurance project was to do a market overview and give members an idea of what insurance companies operate within countries so that they can potentially form relationships, to be a network, or to even work out payment plans and that sort of thing. So we are up to 8 countries since it launched last year. We recently, since the beginning of the year, launched the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Cayman. And right before I started uploading, we added Colombia. So we're up to 8 countries. There are a couple of different ways to view this. One is through the QuiltSense dashboard. Another is through Member 365. It's in the premium products tab. There are directions to how to get to that in the slides for this presentation, which I will upload with the link. So some of the other countries that we have coming up in the pipeline for this year include Egypt, Indonesia, Australia, and Israel. There will hopefully be some more, but those are 4 that I can guarantee you will be up by the end of the year. So the next thing that we want to talk about is the collaborations map. Okay, so next up we have the collaborations map. Like many of these things, there are two ways to get to it. One is through the Premium Market Insights dashboard. The second is through a link in the USCIPP Premium Member Resources. The collaborations dashboard is something that is just for premium members. So I'm going to close out a PowerPoint for just a second so we can get back to the dashboard. And so when we're looking at these sheet pages, we see this one, international collaborations. And this will link us out to the map. And then we wait on ArcGIS. There are a lot of data points in this map, though, so we'll give them a little bit of leeway for taking a second. One super exciting thing about the collaborations dashboard is that last year we did add some new filters, just for better, you know, some of the feedback we heard from the map were these were things that people wanted to see. One of which that I'm really excited about is partner organization and country. So let's say, for instance, that we want to go to China, and we're not sure exactly who we want to work with, but now that we have partner organization and country, we can kind of get an idea of how many collaborations these facilities have with organizations abroad. So let's look at this hospital. Let's see how many. Oh, they've only got one. So we know that they might be open to it, but they don't have perhaps a background in collaborations. They don't have as many experiences to sort of go back on, which might be a good thing. If they have more collaborations with partners abroad, you might have a harder time finding what your niche is. But if they only have 2 or 3, it might be a little bit easier to help identify what holes in their process you could potentially be filling in. So that's really exciting. We also added project subtypes. So let's say that we want to look at some clinical and patient agreements. But within that, we want to look at case consultations and second opinions. So now we have that option. We don't have to scroll through all of those clinical and patient agreements and sort of like read the descriptions and figure out what it is. That information is now fully available right at your fingertips. We did go through and the entire data set to add these new filters. So that's really exciting. And as we add more data points, which we do on a monthly basis, you can see that the last time this was updated was April 21st. Next week, I will be going in and doing the May update, adding new information, updating what's already there, that sort of thing. Some of the updates that we have planned for this year for the collaborations map include doing a second part of the data cleanup where we reach out to our members and we ask if some of the projects that we have listed as active are still active, or if they have some collaborations that we're missing. We do that sort of, you know, on a rolling basis with everyone, but it's nice every now and then to sit down and do that with everyone, just to make sure that we're not missing anyone. Up last for our conversation today are our market analyses. So there is only one way to reach these, which is through the premium member resources. These are posted a year after release, after the embargo period for standard members. We have heard from some folks that they are having issues accessing the new format of the reports on the website where they are hosted. If that is an issue, reach out to us and we'll help you troubleshoot that. But I'm going to go ahead and open up the Cayman Islands market report. This is the most recent one. Colombia is in the editing process. It's not far enough along that I can show it to you today, but hopefully within the next week after this goes up, it will be out. I'm speaking to you from the past, so I'm, you know, not quite sure where we'll be at that point. So this is our brand new format for market reports. one of the things I wanted to talk through was the rationale for this new format. We talked a lot to the benchmarking and research subcommittee about what pieces of these market analysis were the most useful. This is probably the thing that we do that takes the most time. I would say sometimes the insurance project tries to beat it out, but a lot of time and energy and research goes into these. So we got feedback that everyone would love for us to make these market reports more efficient, both on our end, but also from the member end, trying to find the information that they need, trying to make, so if we could cut out some of the fluff, that would be really useful. So we sort of sat down as a BI team and talked about what we thought we could cut and what we might make optional from market analysis to market analysis. And this is what we landed on. I will say that the difference between the Cayman Islands and Colombia is a little bit. So we are still kind of nailing down exactly what this format is going to look like as far as like what sections are included. But as always, we have our executive summary. But as you start flipping through, you'll notice that some of these sections do look different. Some things have been reordered. So just to talk through some of the sections in particular, we got a lot of feedback that people would love to see parts of the insurance project incorporated in. That was something that we used to do, but hadn't been included in a while. So now there is just sort of a abbreviated version of the insurance project located within the market analysis, and it hyperlinks directly to the larger file, which has more information about the selection methodology and further details. I will say, in the event that there are a ton of rows, such as for Colombia, I think I have like 38 rows, only those with US and international coverage will be included in the market analysis. One thing that we cut out was some of the cultural background. That was once upon a time included in the doing business section. We will still include some of the things that if we have the kind of quantitative comparisons of culture between the US and the markets, but we've cut out some of the sections about more of the sort of business culture, I guess you would say. We also made the medical travel section more efficient. So we've also now included medical travel to the area. That's not always been included unless it was a big major market. So Cayman would have probably had a section. Colombia would have probably had a section. But that's something that we're now going to make sure that we explicitly cover, especially if we're looking at these as more of a competitor analysis, which is something that we've also gotten feedback on. And the final big thing that we're changing is that in the telemedicine section, we are now also focusing on digital health within the country. So for this particular analysis, it was still in the healthcare section, but for Colombia moving forward, it will be in the telemedicine section, which is really neat. So as far as analysis that we have planned for release for the rest of the year, there are quite a few. So we have the United Kingdom, that's currently in the editing stages, Colombia, which is also in the editing stages, and then we have Egypt and Australia are also coming. We're really excited to hopefully get through all of these for everyone. I really actually enjoy working on them. So to me, I know I'm a bit of a nerd, but I love researching the market analyses and putting them together. So if you have any questions about the market analyses or about any of the countries that we put forward, just not explicitly explained within the market reports, please feel free to reach out. We may be able to point you in the direction of where and how to answer those questions, because we are trying to make decisions about what to include. And so there may be something that we miss that your organization feels is important. So yeah, that's basically what we have planned for this year. I will more than likely do another one of these videos closer to the end of the year, kind of looking forward into 2023. But I hope you've learned some things. And as always, if you have any questions for the USCIPP team, please go ahead and reach out to USCIPP at indetail.org. all of us have our hands in that mailbox. So it's the easiest way to get a hold to us. But I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see everyone at the all member meeting in November.